What's up, everybody? This is Whiskey in the Six. I'm Rob with my boy from Six Gin and Rock and Roll, Monty. Why don't you say hello?
Hey, everybody. What's going on? Monty here, Six Gin and Rock and Roll. Let's get it started.
Yeah, awesome. Already, there's some profanity in the chat. I had to block somebody. But it's Bruichladdich night.
Yes, sir.
So I figured we'd do a little bit of everything because you wanted to try out the Botanist, the 22 botanicals? Maybe you can explain this a little bit for our friends watching.
Yes, it's 22 botanicals. I'm actually releasing a review of this amazing gin from, the Bruichladdich Distillery. Obviously, it's Bruichladdich night. It's 22 botanicals, all hand-forged from the Isle of Islay. So the head distiller, really wanted to create a gin that captured the flavors of Islay. So it's literally, they got in touch with two botanists from the island. They asked them, what do we have here to work with? And they showed them, the distiller, what exactly they had to work with. And they put it all together, and they've done an exceptional job.
Awesome. So I'm going to sip this neat. I don't think I've sipped too many gins neat until I met you. I basically started sipping some gins neat just recently.
Absolutely. Yeah. This gin, I should actually, it's funny, I have my my balloon glass ready to go for a gin and tonic, but I brought out a Glencairn for the occasion. And the reason why, I mean, we're talking about Bruichladdich, we're talking about whiskey, Islay. I mean, it's obviously a significant place where good scotches and whiskeys are from, right? So I thought it'd only be respectful to use a Glencairn tonight.
Yeah, I agree. That's the best way. I mean, the best type of nosing glass, in my opinion, that there is. I mean, people will disagree, but I think it's just the most well-rounded glass, in my opinion. A bunch of our friends in the house. We got Whiskey Lover in the house. What's going on? We got P Boss, my buddy Paulo, who actually lent me this gin for the evening. I was gonna get some from you, but he had. This way we can both show the bottle on our screens.
Beautiful.
And then we got Loch Ness. What's going on, buddy? We got Tyler, Red Beards Racing. How's it going, brother? We got Sipper Social Club, Jeremy in the house. I might send him a link. Maybe he'll join us in a little bit. I had no time to talk. So
definitely, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll probably send him a link in a little bit. He'll love to join in for the Octomore portion of the evening for sure. And I'm sure he's probably going to make a cocktail for himself as well. Awesome. We got Paul M in the house. What's going on? Go Habs is in the house. What's going on, guys? Nice to see you all. We have about 20 people in the chat right now.
Cheers.
Yeah, so cheers, everybody. Bruichladdich night. We're doing a Bruichladdich gin. We're doing the Bruichladdich Bere Barley, which is an unpeated Bruichladdich, and then we're going to obviously move to the smokiest whiskey on the planet, which is the Bruichladdich Octomore. This is the 10-year-old that I have back here from, I believe, 2016. This one was bottled, so it's a little bit of a vintage now, I guess.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, 2016. So.
That's very popular on our street, I guess, Rob? That's throughout all the Z boys, I call us, the Z boys, Zenith boys. That's a very popular scotch we got there, eh?
Yeah. So a lot of the boys on the street love the Octomore. It's become a fan favorite. It's one of those ones, man. It's a polarizing whiskey. You either absolutely love it or you don't love it at all. So it's one of those. So.
Definitely. I mean, I've definitely, the first time you tried it, I think you had us out for a tasting at your place, a wonderful tasting, I might add. And it was one of the ones that definitely made the grade. And I can say I'm kind of a noob in the whiskey world, and it definitely didn't really tickle my fancy that night. But we'll see what happens tonight, I guess.
We'll see. We'll see if anything's changed since then. We'll see.
Definitely.
My wife's going to join us in the background with a gin and tonic the Rosemary's compliments of you, but I made it for her. So we got Jonathan Monti in the house. What's going on, buddy? Nice to see you. Dante Monti's in the house as well. The brothers are in the chat. We got
Definitely.
in-house mortgages. What's going on, Ann? Nice to see you, buddy. Sasha's in the. We got Mike, our boy Mike in the village over here. all the I guess I don't know how good of an idea it is to explain where we live, but there's a lot of our friends in this area. So
Definitely.
Right, well, cheers to everybody. I'm gonna take a first sip of this gin over here, see how it goes neat.
Give it a shot, yeah, man. Now tell me something before you say anything. When it hits your mouth and it cascades, does it not have like a beautiful viscosity to it?
Yeah, I was gonna say, so one of the few gins that I've seen at 46%, and you could tell that they're not chill filtering this, so that viscosity is really there. I mean, I don't know much about gin, but I do know that when you leave it at 46%, it allows the liquid to not be chill filtered, so that it doesn't get cloudy if it gets cold. Sorry, it does get cloudy if it gets cold. So a lot of gins will be chill filtered, or they'll be watered down to like 40% so that it doesn't get cloudy.
Right.
Does this get cloudy when you put it in like cold temperature, or have you noticed?
I mean, it's hard for me to tell. As far as like, I've never really kept it in like a freezer or anything. I know a lot of people that enjoy gin actually keep their gins in freezers. Now to me, I think that's just, it kind of really over chills it, and it kind of kills a lot of the flavors, especially for a gin like the Botanist, where in fact they actually recommend that you almost treat it like a cognac, like a fine cognac, where you kind of hold it in your hand, kind of get that natural body heat, warming it up, getting those aromatics out a lot better, right? But as far as cloudiness, I haven't noticed any cloudiness whatsoever as far as being chilled. But it's funny you mentioned the color, because there is, and I'll explain this more tomorrow. There is a color to this gin.
Okay.
And it's funny. I was watching during my research of this gin. I was watching another review on it by another gentleman, and he picked it out. It was always something that stood out in my mind. I always thought it was the bottle, and it possibly could be. The way it sits inside the bottle, it almost has like a silvery, almost like a very silver color to it. I don't know. Maybe it's just.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, say there's
You know
like,
what I mean?
like a shimmer.
Right. And it could be the fact that what they're doing is they're using a maceration process where they let it sit in the still, but they heat it up very, very gradually. So what's happening is it literally takes a long time for the spirit to actually be released up into the neck. So what's happening is all those oils from all the botanicals that are macerating inside the still are really concentrated. So it's not getting like a high burn. So you're not really burning off a lot of those great oils and flavors. That's what you're getting, that viscosity. That's why you're getting that amazing aroma to it. All the botanicals are really shining through in the best possible way. And I think it's amazing. I think that's why they put that much attention to detail into this.
Yeah, I could totally get that. I mean, it would be nice if I had a little bit more to compare this to neat, but this is really nice neat. I'm not going to lie, I was looking for a little bit of saltiness, because Bruichladdich is on Islay in Scotland, and they're known for their salt, their briny kind of flavors that come from like the harsh weathers of Islay, right? Like the high winds, the coastal splash onto the rocks, like that salt in the air all the time. So, but
right. I mean that's a great point. There are many whiskeys, many gins that do actually take on that brininess. One, for instance, is Mermaid Gin. I'm sure some people have heard of Mermaid Gin. Another big favorite of mine from the Isle of Wight. It takes on that really nice brininess, like you were saying, and you're getting that ocean flavor. But they're also using a lot of they're using a special botanical that actually grows on the land close to the ocean. So you're really getting a brininess and that ocean taste. But yeah, this one here, I will say it doesn't really have that brininess that you're talking about. I think it's because of that beautiful spring water that they're actually using. Yeah. They're using more of like a really clear spring water as opposed to, say, something, a little bit more brinier.
Yeah. Quick, what's up to Vanessa Monti in the house as well? What's going on, Vanessa? Monty's camera lady once in a while on 6 Gin Rock and Roll.
Yeah, that's definitely true. She is my manager, my set director, my Instagram moderator. She's become wearing a lot of hats recently, and God bless her. She's very supportive. Thanks, babe.
Richard's in the house. What's going on, Richard? He says, checking in. I got my bottles from Alberta, picked up the 2 Brewer 17 Shelter Point Artisanal Single Malt. I've got to say, awesome stuff. Good. I'm glad you like it, buddy. Acri in the house. What's going on, man? Dave,
What's up, man?
our boy Dave.
Dave.
All the Kleinberg boys are in the house tonight.
The Z Boys. I don't know. I call them the Z Boys because I like the. I love one of my favorite movies of all time is Lords of Dogtown. Sorry, and yeah, and the Z. It's Zephyr really, but we call them the Zenith Boys, the Z Boys.
Yeah. Honestly, overall, this is really good, man. I'm really impressed with this gin.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I thought, you know what? Honestly, man, the story behind it is actually pretty cool because there's such a famous distillery. Obviously, like you would know a hell of a lot more than I would, but it's usually the opposite. When distilleries decide to make gins or vodkas, it's literally to provide a revenue stream while their whiskeys are maturing.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, not a lot of attention to detail is really paid to that. It's literally just, let's make a vodka, let's make a gin, let's get it out, make some money while our good stuff is brewing, right? But because the Bruichladdich had a great, they already have the stock, I guess you could say. They took a different approach. They really wanted to make a gin that captured all the flavors of Islay, and the attention to detail into this is absolutely exceptional.
Yeah, I agree. And I guess now that I think about it, the only reason this wouldn't be salty is because in order to capture that salt in the air, it has to be aging in a barrel for a couple of years. There's obviously no aging process when it comes to this because it's completely clear. And it's that porous barrel that salt absorbs into the barrel over the years that gives an Islay whiskey its salinity level. So that's what didn't happen here, of course. Should have known that.
You know what? When you've mentioned that, I'm sure obviously you would know about this a lot more than I would. Jefferson's Ocean. I believe, is it a bourbon?
It's a bourbon.
Aged at sea. I remember reading. Okay, it's funny. I remember reading in a magazine on the way on vacation somewhere. They had advertised it in one of the plane magazines, and I was reading about it, and it's pretty incredible how they do it. They put it on somebody who has a research vessel, and it goes around the ocean. It ages literally on a boat.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah. So it ages on a boat. Basically, so it's Jeremy and I did a video yesterday, and we actually probably should have brought up that one because it's a little bit gimmicky. Like the aging process is, it's not super warm when you're out at sea for that period of time. So like the aging is definitely halted, but what they're banking on is the fact that the ship itself is rocking, and then the liquid inside the barrels will be getting a lot of exposure to that wood.
Totally.
But it's cool. It's a cool story for sure. It's a very cool story. So
yeah, I guess it would seem a little bit gimmicky, you're right? But I just thought it was just pretty incredible to go through all that trouble to age whiskey at sea.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure it's not the most cost efficient, but then again, I don't know what the costs are in comparison to running a distillery. So, or a warehouse to age. Do you have the other two poured out there or no?
I haven't poured them out yet. You wanted to start, I think, with the Bere.
Yeah,
I forget.
The Bere Barley. So it's the
Bere Barley. That's it.
Yeah, the 2008 Bruichladdich Bere Barley. It's the unpeated one. It's the one that has that tag on it there. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I'm gonna pour this one. Can I make a gin and tonic first?
Absolutely, go for it.
I'm gonna make a gin and tonic really quick because my ice is melting, and as you guys can see, I have a fish. It's a balloon glass. These glasses are actually meant for gin and tonics and spritzes. If any of you guys are out there are into cocktails, the reason why it's so big is because if you love gin and tonic the way I do, I can drink it in truckloads. Um, it's not only that. If you actually serve yourself a gin neat in one of these glasses, the aroma actually sits around on the inside of that glass. So as you're drinking it, you're getting a heavy concentrated smell of all the botanicals. But at the same time, what's really nice, if you're holding it, you literally get like wafts every once in a while of those amazing botanicals in a less concentrated form, right? So it's really, really cool.
Awesome. Just a quick hello to Matthew. What's going on, buddy? He says he's from New Orleans. How's it going? Earlier, our whiskey friend or whiskey lover from Newfoundland. So what's going on? Hello from New Orleans and Newfoundland.
Hey guys, what's up?
Pretty much opposite parts of North America.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. Yeah. Narlands. That's terrible. I shouldn't say. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that properly. I don't know if that's the accent that they use down there. They don't pronounce the EW, I guess. Correct me if I'm wrong, Matthew.
Well, yeah, I'm not even gonna attempt it. No, yeah, I'm not gonna even try.
I'm gonna get this the next one poured out as well. Look at this. Like
we came ready to party. We came ready to party tonight for sure.
It's Friday, baby. No excuses.
Exactly. We got.
Oh wow, I can already get that beautiful smell off that, eh?
Nice.
Oh wow, nice and sweet too. Okay, a little tip for all you cocktail makers out there: when you're pouring your bubbly into like over ice, please try to diffuse it. It'll keep all the bubbles in the glass. At the same time, make sure your bubbly is really cold. That makes a huge difference. It really keeps the bubbly in the glass as opposed to it. Like as soon as you pour it right on the ice, it kills all the bubbles and all the life in the cocktail.
All
so
right.
if you guys kind of, I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm kind of pouring it into the spoon off the side of the glass.
As opposed to what I did, where I just like dumped it and like it overflowed.
When you did that, I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the video, I just went, "Oh God."
Has he learned nothing?
Yeah, no. You know what? Hey, listen. I'm here to learn from you when it comes to whiskey, and you're here to learn from me, I guess. But maybe I don't know. I don't know. I try my best, I guess. But
Yeah.
anyways, here's another trick. If you guys have a giant glass that you want to make a cocktail in, use club soda to kind of finish it off. You don't get it as sweet. A lot of people don't really like tonic. It's weird. Like they think it's too sweet, and it is on the sweetness level of say a regular soda.
Yeah.
So if you want to take down that sweetness level a little bit, kind of add a little bit of club soda as well, right inside of there. And I'm using like a lime flavored soda, so you're actually getting that lime flavor too. Oh man, it's delicious.
Awesome.
So and
our neighbor Amanda says we're looking dapper tonight, and then our boy Acri is asking if gin goes well with sopressata. So
you know what, gin goes well as long as you're ready to party. If you're partying, and sopressata is usually at a party, so yes, it goes with sopressata.
Most Italian parties will have some sopressata there. So
always. Now here, look, check this out. We're gonna add. Oh my God, I'm making a disaster. We're gonna add some thyme and rosemary in here.
Nice. So I did one cocktail with thyme, and I'm drinking that one, and then my wife over here the rosemary one. So
beautiful. Yeah, you know what? There is you can even drink this with just neat with a sprig of thyme or rosemary, and it goes fantastic. It accents really well. One of the main botanicals they use in the Botanist is thyme. So you're really accenting on that flavor. It's almost like when you have Hendrix and you add a cucumber.
Yeah,
kind of the same idea.
Nice.
Mint goes really well in this too because they use about 4 or 5 different types of mints in this. So that would work really well too, I guess.
Right
but anyways, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
We just got a picture of you and
we got our neighbors taking pictures of their TV and sending it.
I love it.
I'm like trying to figure out what's going on. First of all, if you don't follow this gentleman right now, you're doing yourself a disservice because you will get the coolest gins on the market and a whole bunch of cocktails to go with it on 6 Gin and Rock and Roll. He's one of my good friends, one of my neighbors. and a whole bunch of us live in this area. We're lucky enough, I say, to live in this area and be blessed to be around really good people. So
Definitely.
and the support's going tonight. We have a whole bunch in the chat. So
yeah, no, it's amazing to see like how we all came together. It took a pandemic for all of us to come together and realize what we have on this street. And it's I mean, like, it's like we always say, the market is so hot right now where we live, but is it really worth sacrificing what we have on the family that we have here? You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, you couldn't buy what we found on this street. It's true.
Definitely not. It's very rare, definitely.
But these guys came to watch some whiskey and gin talk tonight, so we'll digress from the.
We're being cheesy tonight. Don't worry, we'll only get cheesier as the night goes on.
Yeah, as these start to kick in, they'll probably get a little more cheesy, but it is what it is.
Definitely, but I must say, I keep, like, speaking of wafts, I'm getting amazing wafts from this the Bere Barley that you were telling me about.
Yeah, so the Bere Barley is super cool. Much like everything else that comes out of Bruichladdich, there's always a story. So these guys are getting Islay grown barley, which is not easy to do in Islay because it's not the most accommodating of climates. So
right.
Islay barley, they're using their own barley on Islay, and then they're distilling that barley and making this. So this one is, I believe, 10 years old, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was bottled in 2018, and I threw out the tin because I didn't know if I was going to ever use this again in a video, but of course. This is 50% ABV, unchill filtered, no other color, and it's unpeated. So Bruichladdich, whenever they call something Bruichladdich, it's not peated. Whenever they call it Port Charlotte or Octomore, that's when it's going to be peated. So that's how you know how to differentiate between their product. It's all coming out of the Bruichladdich distillery, but if it's called Bruichladdich, it's not going to be peated at all. If it's called Port Charlotte or Octomore, it will be peated.
Awesome. Okay, interesting. There's a lot of history that goes into that distillery. Like, I was just doing a little boning up on it, and it's crazy how old it is.
Yeah. Jim McEwen, who was the old master distiller, master blender, he left it to Adam Hennett, who's the new master distiller. But Jim McEwen pretty much made it one of the most legendary distilleries before he left. Like, he put it on the map for it, to say it briefly.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I heard it went through so many different changes. It uses, like, a lot of the same old Victorian architecture, even though it burnt down apparently at one point. It's been through a lot, it seems.
Yeah. These a lot of these Scottish distilleries have huge histories, right? But what's crazy is, like, what's happened in the last 10, 15 years in sales, like, trumps 100 years before that. It's insane how much has changed in the last, even just in the last 6 years, what's changed in the whiskey world. But
yeah, totally.
Lots of cool. Actually, if you watch, there's a movie called The Water of Life, and it focuses in on Bruichladdich. It focuses in on Billy Walker, who used to be at Glendronach and now is at Glenallachie. Check that movie out. It dips into a lot of the history of Bruichladdich and stuff like that. We would be here all night if we went into the history of Bruichladdich, so we'll just
totally. I know. Yeah, I get it. You know what? It's funny. I was listening to one of yours and Jeremy's podcasts about when you guys with Ralphie, actually, and you guys were asking because he was actually in that movie, I think, right?
Yeah, Ralphie was briefly in that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was pretty crazy how he was talking. And I think he had actually mentioned Bruichladdich a few times.
Yeah,
because that's such rich history that it has about it. And yeah, I don't know, just a little bit that I've kind of found in most recent. I like to research a lot of the gins that I do, obviously, but this one was very special when I got it. Not only because you had mentioned this one to me, because of where it comes from.
Yeah,
and I was like, as soon as I got it, I was so excited to actually delve into it and review it, but I knew that I had to make it something special. That's why I wanted to do the live with you, to kind of do the precursor to my review tomorrow. So I don't know, like just watching. They even have like this new film on their website, and just to see like how Adam Hennett has his he has a private forager that literally goes out.
Oh wow!
And his job is to walk the island and literally pick
in botanicals. That's crazy.
Yeah, like can you imagine that job? Like there's just shots of him walking through meadows, on the beach, in forests, and he's just packing a bag.
I'd come back with a whole bunch of stuff, and people would be like, "So you're trying to kill people, is what you do?"
yeah, exactly. Right? It's like God knows what he's putting in it, but whatever he's putting in it and whatever he's finding is just like that's the level of detail that they're putting into this gin, and I think it really deserves a spotlight.
Yeah. So Tyler is asking a great question. Redbeard Racing. He says, "So how does their local barley stack up to Springbank's local barley?" Well, price wise, there's no comparison. The Bruichladdich is like half the price of the Springbank, as far as just cost goes. And the Springbank local barley is all hit or miss. You're gonna get some really good ones. You're gonna get some really not so good ones. So a lot of people are paying that extra money for the cool story behind it, the fact that it's local barley. But at the end of the day, Springbank just does a great job overall. So you're better off just getting the 12 cask strength for half the price of the local barley. But that's whiskey geek talk right there.
I love it. I soak it up. Honestly, God, man, this culture, ever since you kind of got me like started on my journey here, like it's just been incredible how much you learn and how many people are willing to give their knowledge. You know what I mean? It's pretty exceptional. Like I come from the music world, and not to put down the music industry in any way. Actually, to put down the music industry in a way is everybody's out for themselves and it's all ego. I find that it's exactly opposite in this community, and it's such a it's honestly, I've been involved in the music industry for about 16 17 years now, which is pretty much half my life. Don't do the math. It's and honestly, I must say, like, everybody has been super supportive and willing to give their knowledge, whether they be extremely elite in the game or like just starting out. Like for someone like me, it's like someone who's been in the game for so long, they're just so easily, like, they'll give you information on anything without question. It's just they don't hold themselves on a pedestal. You know what I mean?
For sure. And like, you'd be surprised, people that you think are untouchable in the whiskey world or the spirits world would be willing to answer your questions personally and maybe even come on a live or whatever. Like, there's a little bit of a secret on the channel that I almost gave away right there.
Take it back. Take it back.
Big names in the whiskey industry are willing to do interviews and stuff like that. So we may see something like that in the near future on Whiskey in the Six. So one of the names that we just mentioned actually earlier.
Ooh,
yeah,
awesome, man.
That was pretty cool. But
we should maybe dive into this now. I keep smelling it, but I can't taste it yet.
So give it a little sip. Mine has been poured for quite some time. I gave all three of these about a half hour to open up, and the Octomore will continue to open up in the background. So for this one,
go
ahead. No, what were you gonna ask?
No, I was gonna literally ask what's the ABV on this one?
So that's 50%.
This is 50. Okay, I was gonna say, so it's not too hot. It's actually very comfortable. Like it's not as hot as I would expect a whiskey from the great Whiskey in the Six.
So I honestly think that this drinks like it's 43%.
Honestly,
the only thing that tells me that it's got a higher ABV is that it's got a really nice syrupy texture. It gets a very a great viscosity to the whiskey, in my opinion.
Definitely. No, I guess I can tell. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So not your most punch in the face kind of flavor whiskey, but you're getting a decent amount of sweetness, some like farm-like notes, like a grassy kind of like hay, wet hay kind of note. Or that's what I'm doing. Yeah. Yeah. For like some sort of farm-like note, like even the smells that you would probably get on a barley farm or that kind of thing. And then a very small hint of like a saltiness, like not a lot, but it's there. Like there's a bit of like a briny kind of note to it.
You know what, Rob? I must say, pardon me. I ever since I've met you, ever since we started doing reviews together, the fact that you're able to pick out the flavors that you are. I'm not just okay. I know you're a good friend of mine. I know I sound like I'm kissing your ass right now, but honest to God, dude, like the way that you pick out flavors and like you'll say things like, it smells like a campfire, but not at a campsite. Something like a campfire. This is one of the things you said that stood out to me. A campfire in a neighborhood that someone's burning something, but not in a campsite. Like, how do you do it, man? Like, I guess it's the experience.
You know what it is? It's you start to try to relate, and you do it probably in your own way. Is you relate all these experiences and all the notes and like the smells, the tastes to things you've actually experienced in your life. You know what I mean? So we've all been sitting in our backyard and got a whiff of somebody else's barbecue like 4 doors down or whatever. Like, oh man, that smells amazing. I wonder what they're cooking, right? Like you like that becomes part of your memory, and then you smell that once in a while in a whiskey. Like when we get to the next one, which is the Octomore, you're gonna see exactly what I mean. Like that distant smell of somebody, not even distant, that smell of somebody grilling some meat right beside you is what you get on Octomore, which I love. I think that's great. So,
well, I mean, you have a lot of experience of smelling that because you live next door to our street chef, Dave. Shout out to Dave, man. There's Sundays where I go outside to barbecue and I can't hold a candle to what's going on in Dave's backyard.
Yeah, try being his next door neighbor.
No kidding, right? Cheers, Dave. So,
a decent amount of sweetness, and the more you sip this, you'll get a little bit more each time, I think. What are your thoughts so far?
Honest to God, man, like this, I mean, since I've met you, I've really grown an appreciation for Scotch, for whiskey. I started off on bourbon. Actually, that was my spirit of choice, actually, before I met you. Scotch was always something that's been on the back burner for me. I really haven't developed a palate. As soon as I met you, you really opened my eyes as far as how diverse Scotch can be.
Yeah.
Let's just say whiskey. I guess Scotch is Scotch. Yeah, for sure. But Scotch always had that thing to me where it was always peaty and smoky, and it always had that flavor that I wasn't very appeased to.
Yeah.
It didn't really appeal to me. Sorry. And now that I have different this one isn't peated. I understand. Like the next one we're going to be doing is peated, but this one I find exceptionally smooth. I know a lot of whiskey guys don't like when they say smooth. I know that, but I'm
good with it. You can say it as much as you want on this channel.
I know you're good with it, but I know anyway. But it's exceptionally smooth. It's got like that brininess, like you're talking about. I'm thoroughly enjoying this one, to be perfectly honest.
So, In Touch Mortgages, our boy Anthony says, when I met Rob, I opened my wallet. People didn't know us, Anthony.
Look who's talking.
Yeah. It's, you know what? It becomes pretty expensive to be my friend, but not because I'm taking money from you guys.
No, definitely not. And he's opened us up to a new hobby, and in my experience, a new full-time job.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Let's call it a hobby. It's a full-time hobby.
You know what? Honestly, man, I couldn't be happier. It's because of this pandemic. I play in a band, and unfortunately, shout out to Dallas, by the way. Because of this pandemic, I'm not able to play live anymore, and that's one of my most favorite things to do in the world. And having this as a platform to kind of express my creativity has been amazing. So thank you again, Rob. Honestly, man, like it's really given me a chance to express my creativity in a different way other than just playing music. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Honestly, the pleasure's mine. For those of you that don't know, Monti, well, I'm pretty sure you know by now, Monti created my intro the whiskey in the six with is it Bruce Buffer in the background? It's Bruce Buffer,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah. Well, I did that for Sixer kickboxing. Because I know you're
Yeah, exactly. The combination of my two hobbies.
Yeah.
And all my background music is Monty's as well. So all to this gentleman right here. So cheers to that.
Cheers, man. Cheers, man. It's a pleasure both ways.
All right. So as we move to our new and third whiskey, or third spirit of the night, I should say, which is the Octomore, and Monty's gonna brace himself for this because this is intense.
Yeah, this is the like you said, it's the most peated whiskey in the world, I think, right?
Yeah, so they broke records for the amount of heat levels that were measured from Octomore whiskeys. But whatever. I'm gonna bring in the Octomore specialist just now. So Jeremy just joined us.
What's up, guys? What's going on?
Hey, Jeremy, what's up, dude?
Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you too, brother.
So the Octomore specialist, I like to call him because he's the man that introduced me to Octomore. If you look early on in the archives, I did a live. No, it wasn't a live. Was it a live?
We did their Octomore. No, it wasn't live. It's just a video.
So we recorded 4 Octomores side by side. It was the 6.1, 6.3, 7.1, 7.3. One of the first videos we did together, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Or it was the first video we did.
It might have been, yeah.
So Jeremy's name for my Octomore love.
I fixed myself a little old-fashioned with a touch of Octomore in it.
Nice. Old fashioned. That's my favorite old fashioned.
Yeah.
That's got to be my favorite cocktail period, I think.
I agree. It's
you know what?
delicious.
Old fashioned, believe it or not, guys. My good friend Nick actually got me onto old fashions, and I never really enjoyed them until, like, I met you, Rob, obviously, and I started using actually good whiskey.
Yeah.
And old fashioned. It makes all the difference, eh?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think the peatiness, a peated whiskey really helps. Like I know I did a cocktail for you. I did an old fashioned for your channel, Rob, and I actually smoked some. I think it was cherry wood.
Right on.
There was a video that you have. I used cherry wood to smoke the decanter, and it really gave that really nice smoky flavor to it. So absolutely.
Yeah. Couple of people I want to say hello to. John Drinks, coming from the UK, I believe. So it's got to be late for him, but he jumped in just in time for the phenol bomb, which is the Octomore. And Eric below has asked which Octomore 10. This is the 2016 ppm levels. You guys want to guess? Jeremy, what are the ones that you have there?
So this is I think this is the same bottle. This is the Octomore 10.
Yeah.
2016.
2016. So 167 ppm.
Yeah.
Which, put it this way, for like a guy like Steve,
compare it to something that's like just an average peat level.
So the average peat, average, I guess, like if you're looking at the rest of Isla, you're looking at Ardbeg, you're looking at Lefroy, they're coming in about 40 ppm. About 40.
Wow.
Yeah, 40.
Oh my God.
John is saying
even Lefroy, hold on. Like even Lefroy is around 40?
Yeah.
So
here's the thing. I believe I've never tested this theory or researched this theory, but my theory, which is based completely on just feeling and no real fact, but my feeling, and Jeremy knows because I have these stories all the time. I have these feelings, but they sometimes are true. They come true, right? But I don't believe that we can actually differentiate between a 40 ppm and 150 or 300 ppm. I think there's a point where it's like, okay, yeah, that's really smoky, and then that's it. Like you can't go any further than that. That's my theory. I don't know if that's true. I don't know.
I think what they do is they measure the phenol content before distillation, and then after distillation, it makes a huge difference, right? Because you're getting something like Octomore, the 8.3 came in at 300, and 9 ppm, which was the most ever.
Yeah.
But it didn't necessarily translate to super, super heavily peated whiskey.
No.
So something definitely happens. I think they're measuring before distillation. So the distillation process obviously cuts it or makes it different than what you're getting in the bottle.
And my boy John says, I'm a sleepy boy, but Octomore, ... So here for the Octomore.
Yeah, so I pulled out one of the rarest ones.
Is that the Event Horizon?
This is the Event Horizon. This was a gift from our boy Richard. He was nice enough to send this over. So this one is 12 years old. At the time of release, it was the oldest Octomore that they've done. I think mainly matured in, I don't know if it says, but they use like some sherry cask stuff in here.
Nice.
So you can pour a little of that.
So Steve, what are you getting on the nose? Event Horizon is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I actually I was starting a music project by that name. That's why it stuck out to me.
That's a great movie as well. I remember that movie that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne. That movie was crazy.
Dude, that movie, like the end of that movie especially was insane.
Yeah. I might have to actually search for that tonight and watch it again.
When I reviewed the Octomore Event Horizon, I'm like, oh, I'll put a movie clip in. And the clip that I was thinking of was just like so graphic. I'm like, yeah, I can't put this in the video.
Is it the one where he's like kneeling in the pool of blood?
Yeah, the one where essentially they get the glimpse like into hell and they're just it's pure chaos. Yeah, that's the clip. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll put that clip in.
Yeah, you'll scare a lot of people away actually with that clip.
That's what inspired the whiskey, right? Like, what's the ppm level on that one?
On the Event Horizon?
Yeah.
162.6.
Okay, so as it gets older, it probably drops a little bit. Like, I bet you they measure all around like the 250 to 300 range, and then as they get older, probably, I don't know. So you're saying they only measure it before, or they?
I think they measure it before distillation.
Okay,
but I'm not sure.
So like when you're smoking it, they're actually smoking the barley. It would happen obviously before distillation, right? So like after distillation, a lot of it will be kind of burned off, I guess you kind of say, or
yeah. So basically, what happens is they dry the barley by lighting the peat on fire. So the peat moth, or not peat moth, sorry, the peat bogs are burnt, and then that's what dries the barley. And then the longer it stays there, the higher the ppm that basically is infused into that barley. And then, but how would they measure that? How would they measure the ppm of a dry barley? Like, how do you do that?
Right. That's why I ask. Is like, how would they? Like, I wonder if they have some kind of instrument that would do that. I don't know.
Yeah, because I could see it being done with the liquid, and I heard that in order to get a certain amount of like ppm, you have to go a little bit deeper into the tails of the cut. So there's the heads, the hearts, the tails. You go deeper into the cut, you get more peat out of your whiskey. So I don't know. Boy,
you think? Sorry,
it's okay. Our boy Whiskey Throttle is calling us jabronis. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, you think it would actually be measured during the tails portion, or I would assume it would be maybe during the hearts.
So what happens is, like, the hearts is like the sweet and like
that's the stuff you want, no?
That's the stuff you want, but where you're gonna get your peat, like the dirty stuff, is all in the tails.
Ah, okay, that's why.
Yeah, it brings new meaning to the word getting tail.
I got you. Now the Octomore is working, eh?
Not yet. I haven't taken a sip. So that's just me. Yeah.
Oh, did I jump the gun here? I tasted a little bit before you were out.
I want to give a quick thank you to our boy Dave. Says cheers to the Z Boys Octomore Fund. Drops a $20 super chat.
Boom. Not
necessary, but totally appreciated. Thanks so much, brother.
Cheers, Dave.
Good man, Dave. And we would like to match this Octomore smokiness with some smoke coming from your backyard very shortly.
Amazing. Yes, absolutely. I'm like longing for that.
So John Drinks is saying, unless I've missed an addition, it looks like the highest ppm reading came from Octomore 8.3, a casual 309 ppm.
Oh my God.
Casual.
Casual.
Leave it to the Brits to put it so eloquently.
Or did they smoke it from the sulfur pits of hell itself to get 300? That's insane.
That's the event horizon.
Yeah, exactly. That's the end of Horizon right there. No spoilers. Spoiler alert. Sorry.
Yeah, it's weird because like you get that 309 ppm, but it doesn't taste any more peated than one that's 150 or 160.
Exactly. That's why I think like there's only so much our sensory factory or whatever it's called can pick up, and then it just goes to the wayside. Like it's just for numbers and breaking records at that point. This is 57.3% ABV. Does not drink. Does not drink.
Yeah, that's the lucky number of Navy Strength Gin, 57%.
Oh, there you go. So very close.
Very close. Yeah, 57% for some Navy Strength. I got some actually, and I'm hoping to get some more. It's very dangerous. It goes down way too easy, and it hits you right on the head really fast.
That's the beauty of cash strength whiskey. You only need a couple.
No kidding.
So what are you getting? What are you getting on this Octomore?
Or like you're asking me?
Yeah. We're asking the non-whiskey drinker what he's getting on.
You know what? It may be the gin and tonic talking, but it's actually. I feel like my palate has developed since I started drinking Scotch. This used to be undrinkable for someone like me. At the moment, right now, I'm getting, like you're saying, like a lot of just a very smokiness. I mean, I am a noob at this. I will say that. A lot of smokiness, obviously, the peat. Other than that, there is a little bit of a sweetness, believe it or not, to it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it as smoky as it is, it does have that sweetness to kind of balance and round it out. I think that's maybe why a lot of people are attracted to the Octomore. I don't know. Is that something?
Oh yeah, it's like the smokehouse barbecue ribs, right? Like that.
Yes.
Beautiful
Exactly.
barbecue sauce. That like apple barbecue sauce or whatever it is.
You nailed it right on the head there, dude. I'm a huge barbecue fan. And right there, the barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
Applesauce, right on the head with that smokiness.
Yeah.
I can totally feel that. Absolutely.
That's what made me fall in love with Octomore, to be honest with you, is that like it just brought me back to like walking into like Memphis barbecue or something like that. Like it's just that barbecue smokehouse. Love it.
Yeah, definitely.
Chris Wren is saying, I saw Aquavita's live stream that Ayla, or I'm probably butchering the name there, Ayla Bay measures the ppm at the bottle, only 22, but I didn't know that this was possible. Yeah. So like, what do? They crack a bottle and check the ppm levels, I guess. That's pretty cool. Joseph McNally saying, cheers, guys. I'm enjoying the 8.2 tonight. I have not visited too many of the 0.2s because those are travel retail only. I really need to like get into them. He's saying multiple layers of wine influence due to the using of some obscure Austrian cask here, Santer's and Amarone cask. I did not know they used all those all those wine casks for that. That's very cool. What is this one, Jeremy?
I'm not sure. I don't know what the 10-year-old has in it.
The Grenache Blanc. They always use these funky wine casks from Bruichladdich.
Bruichladdich is great at sourcing like, the oddball wine casks, and this seems to work super well with what they put out.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily like going after like the PX and the Oloroso. Like they do have some of that stuff, but most of it is like these weird little wine casks from little like unknown spots you don't hear too much about. And they source one cool thing too about the Octomore is that even like recently they've listed where they get their ex-bourbon cask from, which I don't think too many Scotch producers tell you what distilleries they're getting their ex-bourbon casks from. So I think like, Wild Turkey was one of them. I think they get some from Jack Daniels. I think they listed that they had some even from like old granddad casks they were using and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool just to see where you're getting your ex-bourbon casks from, because no one discloses that.
That's true.
That I can remember.
There's very few. I think a few people are saying Jack Daniels, or I think actually some of the Canadian distilleries that we're fans of tell you which bourbon casks they're using or which Tennessee whiskey they're using, but it's very rare. You're right.
It is rare to hear that. Yeah.
Loch Ness is saying, could the high ppm listing just be a marketing ploy? We talked all about gimmicky whiskeys this week on our podcast, which will be coming out, what, Monday, Tuesday?
Sunday for Patreons, Monday for the public, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's hard to find a whiskey nowadays with zero gimmick attached to it whatsoever. There are obviously probably more Scotch without the gimmicky catch to make sure that people buy their whiskey. But I think the ppm is a little bit of that. And I think Bruichladdich never really shied away from a little bit of gimmick. They don't mind having the yellow submarine, and they don't mind having like the super crazy record-breaking ppms for their Octomores. But the difference is they can back it with quality whiskey inside the bottle, right? So that's the key. Some of these gimmicky, like Proper 12, for example, we talk a little bit about that in the podcast. It's just a joke, and it would never sell if it didn't have a name like Conor McGregor backing it.
Did you see that he sold his apparently his shares recently for like an unsurmountable amount? Did you see that?
$600 million.
Did you see? That's insane, dude. I just saw that today. Was it $600 million? Did you say?
That's the most expensive terrible whiskey ever sold for sure.
That's I can't get my head around that. Like, the guy makes probably less than that fighting.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
his entire career, he did not make that much money. Added up.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, the guy made a name for himself. He got his name on a whiskey. He sells his shares and made more money than he's ever made in his entire life fighting.
Yeah. Just
by putting his name on like a half par whiskey.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane. But wow, the way the world spins these days, I guess. I don't know.
Apparently, man. Honestly,
yes, I think like what did George Clooney make for selling that tequila brand? I think he probably made more money doing that than he did making movies.
Yeah, well, the movie industry is a little different. Like he's been in a Batman, so that probably paid him like stupid amounts.
Can I tell you?
He was in the worst Batman ever.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm a huge fan of Batman. Like, I don't like superhero movies, Rob. You know this.
Yeah.
I know I'm kind of subjugating myself right now, and a lot of people are saying, "What are you talking about?" I'm not a superhero guy, but the Batman series, all of them, even the Tim Burton ones, I must say, George Clooney, what the hell?
Yeah,
George Clooney.
He was by far the no. Val Kilmer was the worst Batman.
Val Kilmer was the worst.
Okay, yeah, Val Kilmer was pretty bad, but I don't know, dude. Like, George Clooney, Ocean's 11.
Yeah, you know what? I like George Clooney better as an actor than Val Kilmer, so maybe that's why. But
maybe, yeah, I guess.
I mean, Michael Keaton was amazing, but to me, still second best. Christian Bale, man. I think Christian Bale takes the cake.
That takes the cake for me. Christian Bale is my favorite Batman. I don't know. It's like me saying Daniel Craig is my favorite Bond. I don't know. Yeah. I may be sacrilegious for saying that, but Daniel Craig is my favorite Bond. Sorry.
It's generational for sure. I think a lot of people that are a little bit older than us are saying, like, what the hell are you guys talking about?
I want to know what Anthony's take on, but he's a big Bond guy. What's your favorite Bond? It's probably Connery. Is it Connery?
I think it's Connery, and Roger Moore was also probably like a runner-up for me. I think I like Roger Moore's movies a lot.
Roger Moore was iconic almost in a way.
Yeah.
With Bonds, right?
Yeah. Right. So Mark LeBlanc, our boy from Liquor Lodge, just said Roger Moore equals weakest Bond.
But the movies that Roger Moore were in were so good, though. Like, I loved all those ones.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they were kind of like iconic.
Nothing blew me away more than than Daniel Craig's Casino Royale, though. Like
That was a good movie.
no Bond movie, no like espionage movie blew me away more than Casino Royale. I thought
Dude,
that
that's
was
what that movie got me onto Vesper Martinis. That's the movie that hooked me. And it's probably started that movie even started me on my gin journey because the Vesper the Vesper Martini.
Yeah.
You know, 3 measures of Gordon gin, 2 of vodka, and 1 of Quina Lele, which they don't make anymore. But absolutely love that movie, Casino Royale. Definitely.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Swami in the house. My favorite Bond is Mr. Bean. You know what? Mr. Bean is, if he played they should do a spoof. I mean, I love Mr. Bean. The Christmas special, the Thanksgiving one, whatever ones he did, they were the best. So
Dude,
was it Roy Atkinson? Big fan.
Yeah, no, honestly, I put on Mr. Bean for my 4-year-old daughter, and she enjoys it.
Yeah.
To this day,
laugh riot.
To this day, if me and my 3 brothers are in a church and they start singing Hallelujah, we cannot sit beside each other because we will not stop laughing. Like it's like it could be a funeral and the 4 of us are singing together and that song comes on and the first
Oh my God.
line is that scene from Mr. Bean when he's sitting in the church and the only part he knows is that like Hallelujah part. And he just cranks it the entire time. Like it's bad. It's those laughs that you get that you cannot control. And like,
absolutely.
Everybody's quiet for like a millisecond, and then somebody just like through their nose is like dying. It's bad. It's really bad. It happens a lot. It used to happen all the time because my parents used to take us to church all the time.
Oh man, thank God. You know what? It's funny. I love Mr. Bean. I haven't seen that one, thank God, because Hallelujah happens to be probably one of my favorite songs of all time. So I'm glad it didn't ruin that for me.
Okay, so it's not the Hallelujah from the movie. Well, it's obviously way before that, but I know it from the movie Shrek. So it's not that one. It's just that like the I don't know.
Okay? Hold on. Is it the song that they start every single episode with?
I don't think no. It's just
Or is it actually a version of Hallelujah?
It's just like a church version. Like there's not very many lyrics. I think they only say Hallelujah, and then there's like the organ playing, and then Hallelujah, and then it's
like a Gregorian chant or something.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy, I actually feel a little bit bad that you're not having any of this Botanist gin tonight because these really evolved into like a epic tasting.
Yeah, you know what? Gin has never been a spirit that I've gone to, and I've had decent gin cocktails at bars before. They've been good, but it's just never really crossed my path. There's been other stuff that's gotten in the way of it, but I would be excited to try that out.
Yeah, you know what, Jeremy? Honestly, man, because of the you being a whiskey aficionado as well, I feel like this would be right up your alley. That's why I really wanted to make this one special, just because a lot of whiskey lovers would gravitate to a gin like this, only because I really feel it deserves the amount of respect of being drank. I don't know the term for that. Drank, neat, and yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would not use this in a lot of cocktails, to be perfectly honest. The Bruichladdich has a lot of great recipes for this gin, but I would recommend this one to be had in a Glencairn or a Bloom glass or whatnot. So definitely, I think you would really appreciate this one for sure.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go with Rivullatus is saying Johnny English is Mr. Bean.
Right, Mr. Bean. Yeah,
definitely. Second best Bond.
And then Loch Ness is saying that the Octomore has officially kicked in because we are talking about superheroes.
Right.
Red Beer Racing is saying, and playing GoldenEye on N64.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Best game ever.
That's
one of the best games of all time for sure.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? How many the endless nights that I used to have playing GoldenEye? The friendships I almost lost playing GoldenEye.
And I heard that multiplayer in GoldenEye was like an afterthought. The developers kind of put it in as kind of just the whatever, and it wasn't planned. And it ended up being like the greatest multiplayer of its generation.
No kidding. That's incredible. Wow. Amazing. Actually, one of our neighbors across the street has an N64 system. We should definitely get on that once we're able to gather.
Do you remember the Macallan that Daniel Craig drank in Skyfall?
When he goes back to Skyfall.
It was
You know what one it is?
I don't know if it's like a fine and rare. I can't remember what it was, but it was like a 1960, I think, something like that.
Oh, really? Wow.
The
Yeah.
Macallan?
Okay, so let's paint a picture here. We're getting just over an hour, and it might get a little bit messy in a little while if we stay on for much longer.
Yeah.
But let's cap off before you guys tell us where to find your next video and all that other stuff. You're 007. You just drank a fifth of or an ounce of a lethal poison that will kill you unless you magically find carbon and can consume it and throw it up and save your own life. But these things don't actually happen in real life. So your last chance you have 30 minutes left to consume one whiskey that you've never consumed in your life, and you have a plentiful, or well, it doesn't have to be whiskey in Monty's case, because it could just be any spirit. What is that one spirit? You have 30 minutes to live, one spirit left to consume, and any spirit of your choosing. What is that one spirit?
Wow, great question. Hold on. Let me think about this.
I'll let Jeremy go first because I feel like he's thought about this before.
Yeah, definitely. I know exactly what it would be. It would be a Samaroli bottling, either the 12-year-old Springbank or his 15-year-old Lefroy, one of those ones.
Right.
Interesting. You know what? Lefroy. Every time I think of Lefroy, I think of Canadian Tire Center. That's the only thing that's just
soccer ball.
Just me. I don't know.
So what would yours?
I don't know. Sorry.
What would your spirit be? It doesn't have to be whiskey. It could be anything.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking about that, and because you know what's crazy is the gin world is extremely vast. It would have to be. And trust me, I know a lot of people maybe know this. I'm a huge Scapegrace fanboy, so an entire bottle of Scapegrace Black. How about that?
An entire bottle of Scapegrace. All right. Why not?
I would literally try to down the entire thing. Maybe it'll kill off that poison. Maybe poison me in another way. I don't know. In Touch Mortgages are
yeah, that's the easy way out, is to kill you instantly.
Yeah, that will let you die in the first minute. Our boy Peter White says Kingsbury Ardbeg, which is probably an epic one as well. Joseph McNally is saying in Skyfall they drank the Macallan 1962 Fine and Rare Vintage.
There it is. Okay.
All right. So I mean, if that was on the bar, I'd consider it. But damn, I think I don't even know. I think I'm gonna have to like somewhat copy Jeremy, but I think I would go for like a dumpy bottle of like Springbank 30-year-old or like 21-year-old or something, like the darkest, oldest like vintage Springbank I could see on that bar. It would have to be something Springbank, really, really old, like in like one of the legendary Springbanks for sure.
Yeah, you could do one of those old local barleys that were like 32, 34 years old. You could do one of those ones.
Yeah, I mean, you're dying in 30 minutes. Who cares if you drop what, like 20K on an ounce? I don't care.
Okay, so if we're going in that league, can I change mine then to like Pappy Van Winkle?
Absolutely, you can definitely change.
I'll do a Pappy Van. I mean, if it's not gin, it's usually bourbon. So Pappy Van Winkle. I guess. One of the, I don't know. What's a good Pappy Van Winkle family reserve? I guess.
I mean, we could get you that. I mean, you don't have to drink poison. We can pour you some Pappy if you want.
Yeah, Jeremy can get you some Pappy Van Winkle.
You know what? I had a Pappy Van Winkle on my. Oh, we went to dinner at Harbor 60 and we had a Pappy Van Winkle. I forget which one it was. I think it was an 18-year-old. It was delicious, but I know there's always some great Pappy Van Winkle out there that's unattainable. So I don't know, maybe one of those.
Honestly, you'd probably be disappointed, and you'd die, and it would be a bad death. You could probably find you some better bourbon. Than that.
Something better, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, I'll see the whiskey one or Wild Turkey 101 then.
We've been lucky enough to try all the Pappy Van Winkles except for I haven't tried the rye, but I know a guy. I know a guy that has a bottle.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see if we can convince him to open it up one day. But Anthony Acri is saying that he would open up the Clase Azul Extra Anejo, which is pretty epic. I think that's like $3,000.
Hold on, Herradura. What is it called? Herradura Ultra Anejo.
Okay,
it's something everyone should try.
All right. The Herradura, I really like Herradura actually. Like, even the silver is very good.
Yeah, honestly, another neighbor of mine got me a bottle, and another neighbor of mine, Dave, let me try the Ultra Anejo, and I really wish he didn't, because now I can't ever get it because I tried to get it and they want to charge me. The LCBO wants to charge me 4 times the price of where it comes from to get it here, and I have to buy a case of it.
Wow.
And so I'm very blessed to have tried it, and I'm glad I did. But at the same time, I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I'll never be able to get that again unless I actually go to Mexico. So, thanks, Dave.
Peter White saying 30,000 pounds for the 1967 Kingsbury Ardbeg at WE. Redbeard is racing. My boy Tyler is saying Glendronach 41-year-old is up there. That would be an interesting single cast to try. I've seen that one around. Joseph McNally saying Bowmore Black 1964.
Nice.
Is that new 1964 or is that the older one? Because like there's some Bowmore Blacks. Well, the Bowmore Black, like the one that like is what, number 1 or 2 or 5 or something like that on Whiskey Base. It's up there. That one would be very interesting to try for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's some really good ones. What's going on, Ben? How are you doing, buddy? Yeah, I mean, that's such a. I would just say, pour me your top 5 most expensive whiskeys here, and I'll try to drink them in 30 minutes before I die.
Exactly, right? Exactly.
That's pretty much what would happen.
That's a good question, actually. I like that question. I should have. You should have prepped me for that one.
Yeah, I know. Then it's not so authentic, though, right?
No, I know what you mean. Honestly, like I've really fallen in love with the Scapegrace Black that I honestly can drink an entire bottle in one sitting just because of how good it is. But
yeah, it goes down very, very nice.
Very nice, yeah.
Mark LeBlanc is saying Bowmore Black 42-year-old 2007 era was apparently a stunner. So there's that.
Yeah, love to try that. Love to try one of those Bowmore Blacks.
And Peter White is letting you know that Mr. Sam is better than Pappy, and I would probably have to confirm if that's true, because I think the Mr. Sam actually got a better mark on my channel than the Pappy.
So is Pappy just one of those things where like it's developed this name? It's almost like a novelty name in the industry. Like, is it? You know what I mean? Like, is it just like, oh, it's a Pappy Van Winkle, it has to be good? Like,
well, it's like, you know, you can buy some really nice jeans for $50-$60, but if you buy a pair of Gucci jeans, they're probably the same quality, but you're gonna spend like $1,000. You know what I mean? So
yes, absolutely.
It's that sort of thing. I mean,
I get it.
I mean, that's not the exact. Gucci is backed by like high quality, whereas I'm not so sure that Pappy is. Jeremy might speak differently of it. I don't know.
Pappy Van Winkle it used to be distilled and bottled by Stitzel Weller. When it was doing it back then, it got a huge name for itself. A couple like really reputable food critics named it their best bourbon of all time. Scored it 100 out of 100 back in the early 2000s, maybe. And then it just caught fire. And now, it's a great weeded bourbon, and the evaporation on those barrels, they get 90% evaporation or something like that. So they can never produce that much of it. It's great bourbon, but it's overhyped, of course. And some people don't like the oak profile. The oak in some of the releases is pretty heavy. So it depends on your taste palette for that. But I thought that the bourbons were all really, really good. But I mean, I scored them between 90 and 92. So high scores, of course, but not like the highest I've ever scored anything ever. So
no, yeah. Yeah, I think if I were to change my mark, I would go with something tried, tested, and true. I would go with like the thing that I've rated the best on my channel, which is that Gordon MacPhail Mortlock 31-year-old that we had back in the day. I would just say, like, pour me 4 ounces of this, and that's it. Like, I'll be done with it. Very quickly, Dave said that, Monty, you have his wife to thank for pulling that Herradura up. And then Amanda responded and saying, I'm a good friend. So.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I know. It was a healthy serving. And I was blessed to be able to try that. So I'm sure Dave wasn't too happy about it when it came out. He's like, "Wait a minute." Anyways, I enjoyed it.
That was a rough night the next day, or a rough morning the next morning. I remember that one. That was one of them.
Yeah, usually they are.
Yeah,
after we all get together.
That's true. That's a good point. All right, so. If you guys are not following, we've managed to keep over 30 people on the stream tonight paying attention to us, although it's a Friday night. And unlike Canada, most of our viewers are American, and most of them are allowed to party. Most of them are allowed to be at a bar or allowed to be at a club, unlike Ontario, where we are locked down again.
Mm-hmm.
But Peter Scola just jumped in and said, cheers, gentlemen, having a drink for the boys. There you go. Another one of the Z crew. So everybody that's following along so far, if you're watching this later on this week or whenever you're watching this, make sure you go over to Monty's channel. You follow 6 Gin and Rock and Roll, because you're going to get all kinds of interesting cocktails made with gin. Once in a while, if you haven't noticed already, Monty makes cocktails for my channel. So he's making whiskey-based cocktails for my channel, doing a great job, I think. So check him out, subscribe to his channel. We got to get this guy to 1,000 as soon as possible, because he deserves it.
Thank you, Rob.
What's coming up on 6 Gin and Rock and Roll? Tell them what's happening tomorrow. Tell them what's coming up in the near future.
Yeah, definitely. So, like I was mentioning before earlier in the live, tomorrow I'm going to be releasing a review on the Botanist gin, Bruichladdich Distillery, their gin, their take on gin. It's really one of those things where they decided to make a gin not because they needed a revenue stream while their stuff was maturing. We all know how old the Bruichladdich Distillery is. They don't need that. They decided, Adam Hennett decided that he really wanted to capture the flavors of Islay in a beautiful gin. They met 2 botanists on the island, asked them what they had to work with on the island. They let them know, and they literally set out a head forger to forge these botanicals, put them together, and they've really come out with an absolutely beautiful gin, which really does capture the Isle of Islay. In my opinion, I've never been there. I hope to visit one day with you, Rob, with you, Jeremy, with anybody else who really appreciates a good whiskey.
That'd be awesome.
Absolutely, man. Like tomorrow, yeah. So I'll be releasing a review with the Botanist tomorrow, and through the coming weeks and months, I'll be releasing different videos of as many great gins I can get my hands on. Unfortunately, we live in Ontario where we're very limited to the amount of great gins that are available in the world. But I'm trying to use the amount of sources that I've gotten to know through these last few weeks and months and almost a year, where I can maybe attain some great gins from all over the world. So if you're out there and you know some great gins that I should definitely try and review, and maybe even inspire some importers to bring it into Ontario, please let me know. So subscribe, let me know, get at me. I'm a very easygoing guy. Let's talk, let's chat, let's get some great gins. Let's talk about some great gins and get people drinking some good stuff.
Absolutely. And maybe our boy Mark from Liquor Lodge can help us out with that. Get some cool, different types of gins into Liquor Lodge. Guys, if you don't know Liquor Lodge, check him out. He's selling all kinds of really cool stuff. His website has blown up in the last year and a half that I've known him. Just some crazy stuff happening on his website. So check him out.
Yeah,
Liquor
absolutely,
Lodge.
man. Shout out to Mark, man. Honestly, thank you for like getting me in touch with Liquor Lodge. I've actually mentioned Liquor Lodge to a lot of friends just because of the great selection that they have and the fact that they do ship to Ontario, like literally right to your door in most cases. So I've found gins that I can't get here in Ontario, and I'm grateful for that. And yeah, Mark, let's do it up, man. Let's get some great gins over here, man.
Yeah. Jerry, what's going on with your channel? What's happening in the near future? We do this a lot, but let's
new Whiskey Rant podcast. I'm just editing it right now. It'll be available on Monday, so check that out. After that, I got a video coming up. Top 5 distilleries that are currently blowing up and ones that you should 100% look out for. So it's a 5-bottle review. So that'll be coming up later on next week.
Nice. Pretty cool co-host there on the Whiskey Rant, I think, that you have.
Yeah, he's all right.
Honestly, man, I enjoy it myself. I'm not gonna lie. It's great to put on in the background while I'm doing my mundane duties at work. So it's great, man. I love listening to you guys. I can attest, guys. Listen to the Whiskey Rant. It's awesome.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Maybe one day we can sell out Spotify for $160 million, like Joe.
Yeah.
Probably not. Maybe $160. Mark is saying that the Glenallachie 10-year batch 5 price is looking fair coming in right away in Alberta. Maybe around this one seems gaining. He'll be getting that, I think, early June. So keep your eye out for that one. Jeremy, did you review that one yet? You haven't, right?
Sorry, which one?
The Glenallachie 10 batch 5.
No, that's I'm gonna. Well, we should do that blind, or I might do like batch 3, 4, 5, all blind and kind of pick a winner because they're all so close. They're all so good. So
we could do a rant like that. Actually, just do them blind and see what happens.
Yeah,
that would be cool. Yeah. And then over here, obviously, you heard it from Jeremy. The rant's coming out this Monday. I have a review coming out on Wednesday. The review slips in my mind. It's already recorded. I cannot remember what I reviewed for the life of me. So there's that. But I guess when you've been doing this for almost 6 years, you're allowed to forget once in a while. But anyway. Guys, like I said, please head over to 6 Gin and Rock and Roll. Hit that subscribe button. Let's get this guy to 1,000 subs if we can. He needs to get there sooner rather than later. There's not many people representing the gin world. There's only like 1 or 2 other people on YouTube. I only know of 1 other person on YouTube doing it. And he's around 7,000 subscribers, so we know that there's at least 7,000 people that really like gin on YouTube. So make sure you're one of them. Go click the subscribe button to 6 Gin and Rock and Roll, because not only is he pumping out awesome gin reviews, cocktails, but he's representing local music, or music from people that are lesser known, indie music, incorporating all his music and their music into his channel. So very cool stuff happening there. You guys need to check them out.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Yeah, I being a musician myself, I try to get, if there's any musicians out there, this is a call to arms. If you guys really want to get featured, I'm totally open to getting any new artists, rock or any kind of genre whatsoever. Get in touch with me. I'll get you on the channel. I'll get you on an episode. I like to feature an artist for every episode, kind of really show a video clip of them, get their song playing in the background, get the viewers to kind of get to know the artist as well as the gin. So yeah, definitely hit me up.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are staying safe. Cheers, everybody. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining.
Cheers, guys. Great to see you. All the best. And stay safe.
Cheers.
Cheers.